There we go. All right, so we'll start sitting comfortably. And whatever that is for you, this on my leg is called a Vermont bandage. It's a piece of duct tape holding my ace bandage on, in case you're wondering what the black stripe is. Okay, so start sitting comfortably and just letting yourself settle in here. We'll just let the eyes be soft or closed, whatever's comfortable, and start to slow down the breath a little bit and elongate it and come inside. You might want to try having a little gap, a little hold between the exhale. After we exhale the air out, taking a little moment before starting our inhale, that brief pause, brief pause of stillness between the exhale and the inhale. And if you like, you can also tap your low belly gently with your fingers of one hand as we breathe. Relaxing the shoulders and the belly, the jaw, letting the tongue go, brow, between the eyes where somehow unconsciously tends to tense up a little bit. And then we can bring our fingers to our heart area and tap gently around there. And just letting our breath be natural, but deeper, slower. And then bringing our fingers up to our head, we can massage our scalp. We want to wake up our meridians that run through our scalp. And maybe massage our ears while we're up here, kind of pull a little bit and squeeze a little bit all around the ears. Putting our fingers inside, we gently pull down and hold to sort of bring our vagus nerve on. And then our arms can come out from our shoulders, and we'll just start to move our spine a little bit as we reach forward, pulling the heart back toward the spine, and then bringing our arms behind us and lifting and squeezing the scapula just a bit back and forth, flapping wings. And a little bit of a stretch through our chest, through our shoulders and the back. And then letting our arms relax by our side, we'll just start in butterfly. So if you want to bring your feet together, a long-legged butterfly out in front of us, pillow under the knees if you like that. And just start to come forward here and relax over our legs. And we can find that breath again. Just letting the mind relax on our breath as we come into that yin space of, there goes a siren, reminding us of this young world that's out there. Just finding our edge and being still in the pose. We might massage our feet while we're here and just kind of give our feet a little bit of attention. Letting the legs totally relax hips. Rounding our spine, maybe dropping the head if that's comfortable. That beautiful stretch that we get through our spine and the decompression of the vertebra as we relax forward and drop the head, much as we're comfortable with that on our neck. Sometimes the neck doesn't like it too much of that, but we can kind of see what our body needs today. As we're starting out, maybe we can just notice if there's any tense areas in the body, any places where there might be resistance as we breathe. Just start to breathe into any places that are just a little bit tight or that need a little bit of help letting go. And then we'll go ahead and walk ourselves up to sitting and slowly coming up, maybe lifting the knees and doing a little windshield wiper movement, rocking the hips a bit. Then we're going to just let our legs come into a straddle. So here you might start with a little bit of a smaller straddle, whatever feels good to you in the inner thigh muscle area and the groin. So just kind of finding where the legs want to go here. Shift around a bit, and then we'll turn towards our left leg and letting our sits bones root in. We'll just come forward over that leg and relax. Here, you might want a pillow. You can always put a pillow on top of your leg or on front of your legs. Support that will help us let go into the pose. And if the knees need a little support, you can always bend the knees a little bit or stick a little pillow underneath, some folded up towel, something to support the knees. I think my knee would support on this side today. Every day is a little different. So you reach our right hand a little bit more toward the foot. We can increase that stretch through our side, lateral hip and side body, shoulder on the right side. As an option, if it feels right to do this, you can either just hang out here or you can bring your right hand behind your back and kind of face forward a little bit. Maybe bring your arm over your head for whatever amount of time it wants to be there. You can always keep your hand on your low back or on your shoulder as well, somewhere that it wants to, where the shoulder feels comfortable, right? So any of those options to increase the stretch through that side body. And if the arm wants to float back down at any point to the leg, of course, if the legs want to straddle more or less, we can always modify that as well. I really noticed when I wasn't doing anything for a while, so I wasn't able to do after the surgery. Once I started doing yin again, I really felt the opening up of those channels of energy. It was amazing, the difference after not doing it for a couple of weeks. I could just really feel those channels opening up and energy flow coming back. Okay, so we'll go ahead and slowly walk ourselves up sitting, just taking our time, letting the connective tissue come back to where it was. And then we'll turn towards our right leg and forward. Over the right leg here. Again, if you need something under your knee or on top of your leg to let go to the pose. We just had a new moon last night. I was with some women friends that we celebrate the new moon and with a ritual, usually my witch friends here, and it was such an energetic time. So I was talking about the new moon, this new moon time that we're in, and we're on the verge of the summer solstice, which is in a few days, and how just kind of magical it is this time. Very light, enlightening, and sort of well, the mind will probably be pretty active actually too at this time, this Gemini new moon. Gemini energy is kind of a more happy energy, I like to call it. And there's just many things going on in our solar system right now too, not to mention the increase in the solar activity. So if you feel like you want a little bit more stretch, you can put your left hand behind your back and sort of lean into it that way, or bring the arm over the head. Those variations that feels right here. For whatever amount of time you want to hold that arm up. Adding a little more yang to our yin pose. This new moon is opposite to the galactic center, which is the heart of our Milky Way galaxy, which is one of the things that makes it sort of an auspicious new moon. Few other outer objects, they're called Kuiper belt objects, that are sort of like comets that are orbit outside of Neptune, that are involved in this new moon, in this lunation cycle that we're in, that make it quite magical. There's a body called Haumea, who is the Hawaiian creation goddess of rebirth. She's very active on this new moon cycle. All about regeneration. And there's another body called Varda Elantari, who is considered one of the highest of the archangels and beloved of the elves. She's the light bringer who lit up the sky with stars to welcome the elves and deter the dark forces. She's one of those higher vibrational energies. She's lighting up those quantum potentials, you could say. There's some really beautiful feminine energies involved in this next lunar cycle. Okay, so we can start to walk ourselves up to sitting slowly. And then we'll go ahead and just take a little time in the center. So if you want to put, of course, anything to support your arms there, a moment and have a little balancing here. More hip opening. This lunation, this new moon, is also in a square, what's called a square aspect to the planet Neptune. So there can be some very nebulous energy or some very mystical energy with Neptune square the new moon. It can cause all kinds of things. It can cause distraction, a little bit of distortion, or and also have a magical, mystical quality to it. Neptune is associated with the ocean. You know, the ocean is very fluid and very changeable, and has that sort of mystical quality to it. There's that energy going on as well in the next while. Find ourselves being distracted easily, we'll know why. Okay, so we'll go ahead and come up from there. And take your time, and as we come up, we can lean back, bring our legs toward each other, shake them out, windshield wiper, whatever feels good to your hips and legs. Then we'll just take a little short stopover in caterpillar. So we'll bring the legs out in front of us and just relax forward with our legs closer together, getting that stretch through the back of our legs and hip area, activating our bladder meridian. Caterpillar is a wonderful pose for balancing the chi energy. It has a natural, relaxing, it's like a tonic, right? A natural, relaxing effect. Just hang out in caterpillar. Okay, so let's go ahead and slowly walk ourselves there. Again, maybe windshield wiper, shake the legs out, and we can do a few lifts of our hips if we want to bring our hands behind us and lift the hips up and down a few times. Right, and then we'll bring ourselves onto our belly. So might have a pillow or folded up blanket, grab anything like that with you. And we'll come into infant pose. So bringing the arms alongside our body and just lifting up a little bit and reaching back into that also called locust pose in yang, right? So we can engage our backside muscles after all of that forward folding. Taking a couple breaths here. And then bringing our elbows under the shoulders to come to Sphinx. It feels good to rock the body a little bit. Just feels good to your hips and pelvis. Whatever feels good to the head and neck. After all that forward folding, we might want to look up and kind of counter pose with the head and neck and a stretch in the front of our chest and neck here, as well as a little compression in the back of the neck. intense kind of pressure on our sacrum that we like to do between the forward folding and the back bending to keep our sacrum healthy. If you want to lift your feet up or do anything variations with the legs, you can always hold on to an ankle or a foot if you want to kind of add that extra thigh stretch, or just keep the legs up. Just a little stretch that way. Checking in with our breath. So we'll take a little break in half frog on the left. So with our right hand, we're going to sort of thread underneath that left arm and shoulder. Slide the left knee up and just go ahead and rest the head down. It's a little bit of a thread the needle stretch here with the half frog. And then we'll slowly slide that left leg down and draw right arm back through to come back to Sphinx or Seal. If you prefer Seal, we can spread the arms a little wider apart and straighten them. Seal pose. Any of the variations of Sphinx or Seal that feel good to you. Pillow under the pelvis for support. You like. Spreading the fingers wide and sort of pointing them away from each other, sort of like a seal. A little more compression in the low back, a little more stretch in the front of our body, engaging our shoulders and arms. think that I actually might have contracted a little bit of the COVID again, a little bit of the virus, because I'm noticing that I'm getting dizzy. When I get up and down, there's a little bit of dizziness, which is what happened the last 2 times. So hopefully it's not going to get any worse. Hopefully I won't lose my sense of taste and smell, which I don't like. Really don't like not being able to taste food when I'm eating it. It's no fun. So if you are up in Seal, you might want to start to make your way back down to Sphinx, kind of slowly come down. We'll take a break in half frog on the right and thread our left arm underneath the right. Get a little stretch in that shoulder. Okay, then we'll slide our right leg back down and draw the left arm back through. Slowly bring ourselves up onto our hands and knees. Put all fours. Start to move the spine a little bit here. So we might just curl the tailbone under, and it feels good to you to sit the hips back toward the heels. And then lift up and slowly come into an arch. Gently moving our spine here. It's a little cat-cow. We'll do some hip circles. I'm just going to let everything go where it wants to go. As big as your hips feel like moving, circling. Going the other direction. Noticing how the rib cage circles, everything's moving in kind of a spiral here. And then we'll bring our hips back to our heels for a little child's pose. Back. You might like our legs together or legs apart. Stretching arms out in front. Okay, so let's go ahead and come up from there, and we'll make a little down dog stretch here by tucking our toes and lifting the hips. You can walk the heels or press both heels down, whatever feels good to you. Relax the head and neck at an angle, releasing that neck. And then coming back onto our knees, we'll bring ourselves into a dragon. Let's bring our left foot forward. And if you need to do the supine version, you can be on your back and have your hand or a strap on your left foot to pull it down. You might want a block or two for support. Here, if you're on your mat on your knees, lining up our legs with our hips. Also rock in and out of it a little bit to find that lunge. Lost my other block, so I have one. Starting with both hands, one on either side of our foot to begin with. And we can move in and out of any of those dragon variations that you prefer. Come into any of them at any time. So making sure we can let our right hip flexors just relax. Whatever amount of lunge allows us to do that. You're in the supine version, you're basically lunging on your back, right? Putting that knee down toward the mat and then really stretching that left leg out on the mat. There's high flying dragon if you'd like, or there's twisting dragon, which I love, or low flying dragon, or winged dragon. You wing that leg out. Any of those variations. very intense hip flexor stretch. So anytime your body needs to take a break, you can always just straighten the left leg and out of it for a while. And mention putting a padding under the right knee if you need that as well. Something to pad. Another very important, significant planetary event that happens this weekend, as well as the new moon, is the planet Saturn station retrograde, it's called. So it appears to go backwards in the sky until November 4th. And that is going to be the next, whatever, how many months that is from now until November. A good time to take a look at the structures in our life. Saturn being about structure and foundational matters. Reviewing that. And also Saturn is about our authority in the world, or our sense of our inner authority. So how are we finding that right now? Inner sense of authority for our lives, responsibility for our own lives. How much do we want to change those structures, and that might be a little bit reconfigured over the next few months. Retrograde planets are always about looking inward, taking time out. So taking time to go inside, meditate on things, look at things from another vantage point. Okay, so let's take a short break by straightening our left leg. Whether you're on your back or on the mat, you can just kind of give that leg a little stretch. And then we'll bring that leg back and bring our right foot forward, or just switch to your right foot if you're on your back. So lining up our legs with our hips, maybe rocking a little bit to find that lunge. One hand on either side of the foot, on your knees. Stepping in with our breath. Dragon is a pretty intense pose, so we always want to make sure that our breath is not having a tricky time. And if it's out of it for a while, or ease up a bit. Coming into any of the variations at any time that you like with on this side as well. Feel free to move from into high flying dragon, low flying dragon, the variations. so we can start to come out of our dragon and take a little stretch on that right leg, whether you're on the mat or on your back. You can straighten the leg and stretch here, relaxing the belly on the thigh. And we'll make our way onto our back, if you're not already there. And hug our knees into our chest for a moment. Rock the body around or whatever feels good. We'll see how dizzy I get. Not too bad. Let's take a moment to bring our legs into the air and just straighten them however bent or straight they want to be. Allow our blood to flow back towards the heart. You can move your feet around if you like, or you can support your legs and hips by putting your hands underneath your hips a little bit. Wedge there. If you want to use bolsters for twisting, you can just bring them over to the left side. Have them there, and we'll bend our knees a little and cross the right leg, stacking it on top of the left. You can stack the knees, and we're going to just kind of grab hold of our legs, pull our knees in toward our chest, and curl up, head to knees. Make ourselves into a little ball here. So kind of stretching the legs in, head toward legs, legs toward head. And then just letting our head relax down. And we'll guide our legs over to the left and extend the right arm out from our shoulder. And letting our legs relax on the pillows or whatever you're using. You can even use your arm to hold on to the rest your legs on. And the legs can be a little higher up if you like, or a little lower down, just wherever you want them to be. See if we can get our right shoulder all the way on the ground, letting that arm be a little bent and up. Stretch through the front of our shoulder and all those upper body meridians. To make sure that our legs can totally relax, so the bones can relax. So whatever you need to do to let that happen. Twist will recalibrate our nervous system, bring our spine back into balance. And if we have our legs a little higher up, we might feel that stretch through our right hip and outer leg area there. Well, Okay, so we'll start to come back onto our back by, you might either just lift your legs or grab hold of right knee and lift it up and then bring your left knee up. Just come onto the back. If you're using bolstering, you can bring it over to the other side. And we'll cross the left leg on top if we can stack our knees as much as we can here and grab hold of the legs. We'll just pull the knees in toward our chest, curl up to a little ball as we pull the knees in. Let's stretch in our hip, our back. And of course, the head will want to come down at some point. You can relax your head down. Take our legs over to the right and extend our left arm out from our shoulder, finding a way to allow the legs to relax totally here and keeping our left shoulder on the ground if possible. The head might want to turn toward the left or toward the right. Just a little different experience, or maybe look straight up. Whatever feels good to your neck and shoulders. Just allowing our breath to massage all of our organs. Our bodies are totally capable of healing. Self-healing is something that sort of comes with life on Earth, that ability. And I think if we incorporate and really are aware of our breath, how important the breath is to allowing the healing to happen. Getting in touch with the breath, it's pretty amazing how much healing power is in the breath. Of course, it helps to have good, clean air to breathe. That's pretty important as well. And if we're still awake, we can maybe start to come out in the twist on that side and come onto our back. However you're comfortable, you might hug your knees and move your hips and legs around a bit, whatever feels good. Stir the knees or stretch out. Just take a moment to integrate. Breathe here. Notice how we feel. Notice our body. Notice our breath. Noticing our mind. Feeling that energy circulating, all those unblocked channels now. To free up a little bit more. And just giving thanks to our body for being there for us. Thanks to our breath. Giving thanks to Gaia, Mother, being there for us. You can either continue to lay there or get up slowly if you'd like. And thank you for coming and joining me in the Yin Temple today. And hit the record button.